Well, thank you so much to Mariah and to Mama Cindy. I appreciate this opportunity. And she's absolutely right. We were at a conference together in Rhode Island, and I met her at the airport with the conference host, and we have been hooked up at the hip ever since. And both of us deal with legislation, which my time is coming to a close. But we are one mind and the same, and we can talk for hours about this profession. And so um, this topic, chaos in your purse, came from a simple conversation I had with another trainer. And we were just talking about life and craziness. And, a comment came out of it. And I just, um, put it together right quick. And she was like, and I was like, here's my training. And she was like, oh my God. And I'm looking at putting this into a keynote because this can encompass anybody in leadership. And so my prayer is that you guys look at this from a personal standpoint, because in leadership, we go through a lot of things that are hidden and things that are unseen, right? That are not, that are seen. And it's sometimes we wish somebody would cater to us and coddle us and pet and pamper us and take the time to acknowledge our good work, right? For years, we've always been told to push it off to our staff and everyone else. But we have, in doing that, we have put ourselves on the back burner. And, I'm the kind of person that I will toot my own horn when there's no band around. And there's not a band around most days because everyone else needs me to toot theirs. But so I appreciate any time that someone can spark a little love into my words. There's my friend, um, Miss Prana. So anyone can spark some words into me. I'm all for it because God knows being Mama Sean is a big, big, big Louis Vuitton bag, but I wear my bag well. And, I'm in the process of vacating and emptying out my bag and the wristlet and the coin purse and all the bags that are within the bag, right? Because there's bags within a bag. If there's men on here, my bad. You have a wallet, right? And a work bag. But we ladies, we have a bag, a purse, a backpack, and then there's always a bag within a bag, depending upon, what's going on in our lives and what time of the month it is. There's a bag and a bag and a bag and a bag for the pencils, pens, chargers, right? I'm already exhausted talking about what's in my bag. So let's go ahead and get started. If you guys have questions, comments, please put them in the chat. I am able to multitask and answer your questions as we go through our session. So this is a little bit about me. I am an early childhood educator by heart. I started out as a floater when I was 16, but before that, I had my own babysitting business at 13 and 14. And so I've done it all. I've been a teacher. I've been an instructional coach. I've been a director. I'm currently an owner. I'm all the things. I'm an author. I'm a podcast host. Like I always told myself I wanted to be everything to everyone because there's always a question someone has that no one ever answers. And so I wanted to be the one to have all the answers, but that's a lot of pressure, which is probably why my Louis Vuitton is so big. But I love this industry. I'm very passionate about it. I have a bachelor's and a master's in it, and I love what I do. I'm shifting into the higher ed sector. I've taken a love to teaching at the college level. I get to guest lecture with a friend of mine. And so I've really taken a shine to being a guest lecturer. So I'm enjoying that. But let's talk about our Louis Vuitton or your Michael Kors or your Kate Spade or whatever bag you've got right now. And so I want you to, because we're going to use it. And just know I'm not married to these slides. Okay. So an idea might come in my head that aren't on these slides. So I just want you to bear with me. So I want you to always, even as we go through this session, I want you to have your bag or your purse nearby because we might need it. You might need it. And you're not on camera, so it's not like you have to expose anything to the camera, but you will probably put it in the chat. So I want you to keep that open. So just a few objectives. We might not get to all of them, but as we go through this session today, I want you to, first of all, clear out your mind of your work. This is me sitting with you, right? We always want someone to sit with us and talk with us. Like think about me, be in the moment with me. Like I cater to everyone else, right? We've got wives, mothers, girlfriends, educators, teachers, all the things that are in this chat. And for this next 45 minutes, I am whatever you need. You don't have to be anything else right now. I am what you need right now. Someone is taking her time to be what you need, and that's me. I do that for everybody because that's just the heart God gave me. And I do my best to be my best. So I want you to right now dismiss everything, all of your responsibilities if you can. And I want you to look at your emotional, mental, and professional clutter that contributes to you being overwhelmed. Right now, if I go through everything that's in my life that's overwhelming with you right now, y'all might want me to sit on y'all's couch and talk to you because I am overwhelmed beyond what I've ever been overwhelmed in my life. But I do my best to number one, carry it well and talk to the people that I trust um, about what's going on. Reflect on your internal and external expectations. So we have to have expectations, and there's people that tell me, "ReShaun, you're too hard on yourself. Give yourself grace." I know there's been times Prana and I have talked, and she's always said, "Give yourself grace," and I'm just like, I'm trying, but I have my expectations for this particular thing are too high, or this is what I'm wanting, or what I'm looking for. So I giving myself grace, I'd have to do that after, right? But that's a friend who I trust telling me, "Hey, I, I'm your friend and I need you to relax a little. It's going to work out," right? So we're going to talk about a 3-step strategy to unpack, sort, and repack. And that's going to be the bulk of this session today and again, this is something that I'm looking at being a keynote because this is an amazing topic that, in a conversation that I had with Prana, we were talking about that and it just popped up and I just put it together. And so we want to talk about that. We're going to do our best to set boundaries, right? Because let's be honest, we have our boundaries, but do we go over them? Yes. Do we, smudge them? Yes. Do we probably erase them? And so we can step over that little line. Yes, we most certainly do. All right. So then we're going to talk about hopefully getting to it, walking away with renewed energy, purpose, and tools for leading with intention. Okay. So just a couple things to keep in mind. So right now, I want you to take your purse or your bag, right? And I want you to look at what's in there, right? Mine's up front, but I know in here what's in my bag. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what's in my bag, right? I have I think it's a Kate Spade little bag about this wide. It's pink and it's got the cute little gold straps. And so I flap it open. I've got pins in there. I've got all of my debit credit cards. They're not in a wallet. It's just in a little pocket. I've got pins. I already said pins. I've got lip gloss. I've got 2 lip gloss actually. I've got a thing of lotion that's about like this size. Receipts. I've got candy wrappers. I've got my AirPods and my Skull Candy headphones in there. I've got what else is in there? Probably loose change, candy, mints, um, I think that's all I can think of. So I want you to look in your bag right now, and I want you to tell me 2 things that are in your bag. Let's put it in the chat. What are the 2 things that are in your bag right now? Let's talk about that. What are 2 things that are in your bag? And see if we can put it in it. Okay, nuts and lotion. Okay. K-cup. Oh, not a K-cup and a hair clip. Okay, in a small bag. Okay, wallet and lip gloss. Okay, credit card holder and planner. Tissues. Okay. Okay. Okay, makeup and twizzles. Okay, mint and a dental floss, makeup pouch, pens and a cough drops, lotion, perfume. Okay, pen, wallet. Okay, so we see, and I'm gonna Sandra Duncan. I don't know if it's that Sandra Duncan. If it is, oh my gosh, I'm honored. Toothpicks, notebook, makeup. Okay, so we're seeing a lot of toothpicks. Okay, we've seen a lot of toothpicks. That means we're eating on the go, and we want to make sure our teeth looks clean, gum, and we don't have food sticking out. All right, very good. So we there's a lot of the same thing. Oh, it is her. Oh, all right. Miss Regina said my book. Okay, we got gum. So those are some of the things that we as women we carry with us everywhere we go. Right, we carry those things. But let's look at. I know for me, you've heard the saying, your purse feels like you have a kitchen sink in there, or you have everything in there but the kitchen sink, right? And so I want you to now look at what's in your purse that you don't need. Like, we as women, we think we need everything. We think we need everything, like something might come up, right? We might get stranded at a light and we need to plug our phone somewhere, right? What are some things that's in your purse right now that you really don't need? Nina Hall, feminine wipes, lipstick, good. We could always use things. Granddaughter's doll, okay. I don't need a cape. You don't, friend. You don't need a K cup in your bag, but I appreciate your honesty. Okay, someone said business cards, okay? And there's times where as an educator, if we're in the classroom, like I'm in the classroom, I'll have one of the little dolls or crayons or a feather or just something random. And I'll be somewhere and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is from one of the kids. Like, it randomly got in my bag because it was in my pocket. And right. So I'm picking up things that don't necessarily have anything to do with me personally, but I'm picking it up out of habit and I'm sticking it somewhere. Next thing I know, I've stuck it somewhere that is my personal space, and I'm taking it with me where I go. Okay. Um, and so I now have all of my things plus someone else's. I now have my stress, my life, plus someone else's or something else that's not mine. How many of us do that, right? Just that moment of working in a program, right? And my center is play-based and it's messy play sometimes and it's just crazy. So there's times when I'm picking up, I might mop. I'm not mopping, I might vacuum and I'm vacuuming and I have the little plug in my pocket, or I might have this and I'm like, what is this in my pocket? And I'm like, oh, okay, it's a plug. Vacuum's still plugged in, so kids are safe. So then I go back and I might pick this up and pick this up and pick this up and pick this up. And next thing I know, I look at all the stuff that I've picked up that I've now taken with me. How many of us have things in our purse now that we should not have? Okay. Realistically and emotionally, right? Sometimes it just gets on my nerves sometimes of how much I will take on someone else's stress and I take it to bed with me. I take it with me when I travel. And there's been times I've taken it to church and I have thrown up in church because I had that person's stress on not 40 tubes of lipstick, sis, not 42 tubes of lipstick. Lord have mercy. I have taken that stress and it has affected my body to the point to where I am literally throwing up in church. No lie. Right. My mother's the pastor. So I was okay. But we're taking on someone else's stress, right? And we have forgotten about our own because we've packed on something else. So let's look at a couple things. I have a word cloud here. The things that weigh us down, to-do lists, right? How many of us work on a to-do list? And it's just like, if I don't do, I don't feel successful. If I don't do, I don't feel like I've accomplished anything. And I know a lot of friends who they work off of that and their life is in shambles if they don't complete that to-do list, right? I tried my best to be organized, and Beth Cannon, love her to death. She asked us what our word was, and I remember texting her my word, thinking, okay, I think this is my word, but I have faltered very badly on my word. So much so I don't even remember what my word was, but I do my best to make sure that I'm on top of my tasks, but I'm not a person that likes lists. I don't like to do lists. I am a walk in the clouds. We're going to walk through the field and we're going to pick up things and be creative. I don't like to do lists. I feel like I'm enclosed, I'm in a box, but that's what keeps me organized, right? Which is why my purse, I know I don't do well with big bags because I'm stuffing everything. And let's be honest, ladies, if we have a big bag with no compartments, we're stuffing things in there that does not belong in there, and things we don't need, right? So look at that. Look at that big bag. What about guilt? How many of us are carrying guilt in our purse? Guilt for something you've done years ago, personally, professionally, right? Guilt for things that is not even your fault, but because you have sympathy for someone, you're taking it in. Like, why am I feeling bad for something I didn't even do? right? I'm bad about that. And they're like, ReShaun, why are you? And I'm just like, I don't know. My heart just goes out to them. And I'm just like, girl, snap out of it. I've done that for years, which weighed me down, right? What about being overwhelmed? How many of us are overwhelmed, right? This is a safe space. This is Planet Fitness, safe space. Be honest. How many of us are overwhelmed? I am overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed that I've probably cried, I don't know how many times in the last like 7 days. I'm overwhelmed, right? But in the midst of being overwhelmed, I remind myself this is only going to happen. This is only going to be for a little bit. It's not forever, right? I'm mindful of the stressors and I know who the stressors are. Because yes, people can be stressors, right? So I'm mindful of who they are and I know what stresses me out. I want to make sure that I don't put my issues off on anyone else. So I go quiet. And if anyone that knows me personally, when I go quiet, something's wrong because I'm an outgoing, energetic person, right? So when something and your friends that know you, they know when something's wrong with you because that's not your normal MO, right? So what are some other emotional baggage or emotional bags, right? Because we always have the big bag and the little bag in our purse, ladies, right? So let's talk about that. What are you carrying? What are you willing to admit that you're carrying in you right now? Because we as women, first of all, this industry is stressful. It is stressing me out, right? And we deal with legislation and we deal with all these different things and stuff going on in San Antonio right now. And it's just crazy. So, we're seeing everyone stress out. And I'm always doing my best to be that cheerleader, right? And sometimes their cheerleader needs a cheerleader. That's why I'm so grateful for Mama Cindy. Because when I need to talk, she's a phone call away, or she'll pop in and just say, I'm checking on you, girl. You good? Right? That makes a difference. That means that that person that you connected with knows you, knows you. So what are some things that you're overwhelmed with at the moment? We don't want to go too deep because I'm not a therapist or a counselor. I could be, but I'm not. All right. So Miss Vivian, when will girl, I know that's right. When will my transmission get fixed? When will my nonstop walkers take their first step? Will I get a promotion or no? Those are really big questions. And I'm a firm believer. Anyone that admits anything to me, I am quick to let them know. I appreciate you saying this. I appreciate you letting me know because not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody is that transparent. My mother raised my brother and I to be transparent. She taught us to be transparent because how is it going to help you if you lie? How is it going to help you if you keep it to yourself when there's an outcry for you? This is an outcry for y'all today. This is for you, right? So yes, so definitely be honest and definitely be transparent. I love that. As much as you feel comfortable, because not everybody feels comfortable. Miss Olivia, am I doing enough? Yes, ma'am. And how do I know? And I don't even know you, and I don't even know what you look like. But how do I know you're doing enough? Because you showed up today. You showed up, right? And sometimes showing up is, hey, that's all I can do today. That's all I've got. There's so much weighing me down. Me putting on clothes, walking through the door, being here for my kids is all I can do today. Um, we are very low on enrollment, which means I cannot have an assistant to help me with all the things new school year. Absolutely. That's something we dealt with too. I only have 4 classes left before obtaining a master's. Good job. Oh God, I sound like Miss Rachel. Good job, Miss Rosalind. Good job. And keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You're almost 4 classes. Keep going. You're almost there, friend. We've got some masters and PhD people probably in this room. I know master's degree. But keep going. Keep going. You're in a house of friends. Keep going. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we already talked about that. So we're gonna move on. All right. Now, how many of you are carrying exhaustion? How many of you are carrying worry? How many of you are carrying the pressure to be perfect or to be what someone else wants you to be and more? Look at all that. Look at all that luggage. There's the backpack. There's two side by side. One's bigger than the other. And then there's a small one. Just look at that, right? Look at the sizes, the colors, how much you can fit into that luggage. right? Are you carrying things you should not be carrying? I know, like lately, I've been exhausted because of what's been going on here, right? Getting up in the morning has been the hardest pill to swallow because I'm on my feet all day. And depending upon what day it is, I either have to train. I did 3 conferences last week, or I have to go here for church or do that. So there is days that's like there ain't enough caffeine in the world, right? But I know I get up because it's part of my responsibilities, right? So yes, there are days that I carry exhaustion, but I also know what I can do to relax. I also know what I can do. Now, I know myself because I pay attention to my body, right? As women, sometimes we don't. We don't pay attention to our body. Our body is like, girl, if you don't stop, I'm gonna make you stop. I'm gonna put you on your back for 4 days if you don't stop and rest. That is not what you want your body to do. You want to take it on your own account and say, before my body decides to shut down on me, let me go ahead and take a day or two off and not work and not do anything. Right? Are we able to do that? Probably. Right? So we're going to have to put ourselves in a position that makes us do that before your body decides to pull rank. Okay? All right. Okay, so consider your purse. Our purse are like our lives, full of things that we don't even mean to pack, like we talked about earlier. I didn't mean to pack, I'm sure someone didn't mean to pack her granddaughter's doll. I didn't mean to pack all these chargers, whether it's for the car, whether it's for the wall, whether it's a portable charger. 3 chargers I don't need in my bag right now. Because if I'm intelligent as I say I am, I'm going to charge my phone ahead of time, keep it charged throughout the day where I need it. I only need one, or go on the TikTok shop and buy a universal charger, right? We carry for others. How many of you right now can admit you're caring for other people? You're carrying something that has nothing to do with you. We're carrying someone else's fears. You're more than welcome. They can come talk to me. That one person that you open the door to come and talk to you will blow your phone up. Okay, they will wear your phone out. They will message you. They will text you. They will video chat with you. They will call you. They will Facebook stalk you, Instagram, TikTok, and all the other talks. Next thing you know, you've got several messages from one person from 5, 6 different platforms. And you're just like, can you please relax? I'm only one person, right? How many of us carry someone else's tantrums? How many of us carry someone else's pain, right? Gotta go here for a second. That's not God's will for us to carry someone else's pain. No, not when I have my own. Right? People will dump, and if you're a nurturer, you're that person that loves people and you love helping people like me. They will dump and dump and dump and dump, and we don't have the blockage there to say, hold on, that's enough. That's enough. I need you to go do some things for you because you're just dumping and you're dumping, but you're not helping yourself, right? So we cannot, as women, and if there's a man in here, my bad, but as far as I know, it's all women. We as women carry more of the heaviness on things, emotional and social things, than most men do, right? They're just not there, but we do. We carry it, and we want to be all things to our friends. But sometimes when we need things, it's a ghost town. It's a ghost town, right? And so we have our small pocket of people. Sometimes we carry what's expired, right? How many of you dream of, I'm just throwing this out here. How many of you probably dream of being a Broadway dancer? Right? I know it's far-fetched, right? But you have this dream since you were 9 that you wanted to be on Broadway and dance on, Phantom of the Opera, which is my favorite opera, or you wanted to, play the teacup in Beauty and the Beast. I don't know, right? But you're already in a very veteran side of life, a more older, more settled side of life, and you're just trying to figure out how to get back to that dream. Sometimes dreams are expired and we have to let them go or find another way to fulfill it. But we're not at that place where we don't have the capacity in here. Most women, we carry things in here and in here, right? We don't do a very good job of letting the stress and the pressure of life go, right? I know sometimes I eat my weight because I'm stressed out by other people, right? And I'm just like, why am I sick? And the person over here is living their best life. And I'm over here on the side of my bed, puking my guts out, can't hold anything because their issue has become my issue. I am choosing not to do that anymore. And we're going to talk about that at the end. We forget what we packed. We forgot that we, on the very, very bottom, there is a search mint from like 2009 in our bag that we had tucked away in the closet. We're like, oh, let me use this bag. I love this bag. Let me use it. But we forgot that there was still stuff in there that we didn't take out. Right? So let's look at those things. And I want you in your mind to mark those. What are those things for me? What have I forgotten that's at the bottom that is buried? What is that emotional clutter that's keeping me stopped up? I believe that we can stop ourselves up by letting other things in that's not meant for us. Not every avenue, not every person we meet, not every environment we're in, not all of that is meant for us. We have to pick and choose what is good for us. That means we have to know who we are, right? And it took me a long time to know who I am. And I know, oh, my name is ReShaun. I have all these friends. I love my friend, blah, blah, blah. But to know who I really am helps me to realize what I don't want in my bag and even go as far as who I don't want holding my purse. Right? Because the person holding your purse might not be a good, trusted person who might go in and put things in your purse, if you get what I'm saying, right? In the big spectrum of this topic, right? So things in our emotional purse. As leaders, we carry a lot of weight. We take the weight home. We unleash on our home when our home did not deserve that torment, or that torture, or that frustration, or that sadness, or that anger. We go home and unleash it to the people that are like, this is your safe space. Why are you unleashing it to your safe space? Right? So we have to look at that. And I do as well. There's times where I will go and get in my room and shut my door. Because I know I'm at the point where if you say hi, I'm going to bite your head off. Not because I want to, but because I'm overwhelmed and I'm full. Right? I have I get sensory overload. So there's times when I feel like I'm full all the way up to my ear and the top of my head, and humming will set me off. Tapping of the finger on something will set me off because I'm overwhelmed, because there's just too much, right? So there's times when I'll go and I'll sleep, I'll go and I'll scroll on TikTok, I'll go pray, I'll sit with my mom, or I'll just be in dead silence and just vegetate in total darkness because I just need peace and quiet, right? In order for me to unpack all that, I need peace and quiet. So that way I can look at what's in my bag, not someone else's bag, but mine, and start, okay, and start talking myself through, okay, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. Okay, this is what we need to look at. How do we fix this problem? How do we fix this thing? Like I said, if I told y'all everything that was happening right now, y'all would be like, can we unpack your purse? Right? But I've also done my best to not mask my feelings, but I know how to compartmentalize what goes where, because not everyone needs to hear all of my emotions or all of what I'm going through. Not everyone can handle what we do on a daily. Same for you. Not everyone can handle, as a leader, what you do every day. And so, I'm not going to tell my enemies my pain point, because you don't, that's just like telling the devil himself, yes, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that he would use your enemy will use all of that against you. And then you're like, why is it getting worse? Well, you gave your enemy the keys to make your life a living hell. And that's not what you want to do, right? So look at what's in your purse. Look at what's in your bag. This is not necessarily an ECE or a childcare training, but this is more for your emotional and mental well-being, right? There are times when I want to sell my center to the 6-month-olds that are here. I told my little baby husband, I said, baby, you want a childcare center? I'll give it to you for free. I will give it to you for free, because y'all are wearing me out. And he just looks and laughs, and I'm like, no, I'm serious. Well, he's 2, right? So he don't know. But there's been times where it's just been like, I'll give it away because I'm tired. Being a leader is tiring. But then there's a spark that happens, that little flicker is still there. It might be faint, but there's a flicker that says you're in this because you love these children. They'll do something or say something that will just like, okay, Okay, I needed to, okay, it's spark. I feel the spark. Okay, now how do I fan this flame so it can grow some more, right? Because I'm tired, right? And I know you guys are tired. We had a conversation before the class started where we talked about that. And so I know that you guys are tired and I know you're over, as someone mentioned about being good enough. We always battle as women by just being a woman in 2025. Am I good enough? Right? Am I good enough to work this job? Am I good enough to stay in this career? Is my voice still valid? Right? Does it still matter? Someone said, "ReShaun, you're a veteran." And I'm like, "I'm a what?" I'm like, "I'm still learning how I'm still a baby in this thing." But no, you're a veteran. You've been doing this thing for a long time, right? And there are times that even those of us that are veterans, right? That we have to still keep ourselves going, right? We still have to examine what's in our purse. If you got to go from a Louis Vuitton down to a clutch, then that is what you do, right? Uh-oh. Y'all don't need to see that. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Today, we're not just going to organize your purse. We're going to unpack the emotional clutter you didn't know you were carrying. All right. So you can walk away lighter and more aligned with your purpose. All right. So we talked about what are your emotional receipts? Okay. We, I swipe that card. You want a receipt? Yep. And we just stick it in that bag. We stick it, we stick it, we stick it, we stick it. Next thing you know, all that paper is going to become a heavy load and a burden to you. Right. So what are you carrying? The burden of perfection in your classroom, in your workplace, in your home, right? And I'm not going to touch too deep on things because I've had a lot of experience. But the burden of being in a relationship sometimes can be overwhelming, right? Especially if it follows you to work. I've had staff members whose boyfriends showed up at work to have a conversation, and I had to get in. I was like, "No, this is a workspace, and you need to leave. If you don't, I will call the cops." And I could have taken it a step further, but I'm going to respect this. I'm going to respect this space, right? Because you're going to, this person is at work on my clock. You're going to respect my clock. You have issues, y'all have 12, 13, 14 hours to discuss that at home. But while they're here, and she had to have the guts enough to have that conversation as well, right? So there's times where we have to maintain order in our workspace as well as at home, because if not, both of those spaces can be chaotic. Invisible labor, over functioning, signs of burnout. Again, am I good enough? That sounds like a burnout waiting to happen, right? We all, again, veterans, we've been in it. We've probably had to do an overturn and an overturn and an overturn at that 100,000 mile mark so many times, right? Just to feel like we're still making an impact in this profession, or just an impact in life with our friends, with the people that we associate with on a daily basis. Okay. All right. So let's see if you guys are up for this challenge. I'm going to do it too. I'll never do anything that I haven't done or that I don't, that I would not participate in. What am I carrying that I did not choose? That's a big one. What am I carrying that I did not choose? What am I afraid to let go of? Whose expectation are taking up space in my life? All right. So I want you to get a sheet of paper and I want you to answer those questions, right? What am I carrying that I did not choose? Right? Sometimes, I've been told, this is not my story, but people get into marriages and there's other children, and then there's the mother of those children, and then the grandmother of the mother of those children. And there's always an input into how the stepmother or stepfather parents, right? Sometimes that was a life that that person marrying into did not choose and wasn't aware of. So what are we carrying that we did not choose? Right? Let's look at being in leadership in your space, right? Because we've got trainers and consultants that train and travel other caregivers and providers and educators. We have directors probably in here. We have owners in here, right? So there's times when we carry things that was not a part of what we signed up to do, right? And if we're not cognizant and if we don't have those boundaries, they're going to hand it and we're just going to stack it. We're just going to take it, right? It's like that TikTok trend where, the dad or the mom is sitting there on the phone and people are just randomly handing them things and they're unaware of all that they're handing them. Next thing you know, they've got all these things. You're like, wait, what am I doing with all these things? Right? People were just handing it to you and you weren't cognizant of what people were handing you. All right. What am I carrying that I didn't choose? What am I afraid to let go of? What expectations are taking up space in my life? Who would like to answer? You can put it in the chat, either all three or one of the three or two of the three. I leave that totally up to you. I'll tell you what I'm afraid to let go of, that talking with a friend has given me the idea to do this starting in January. So Prana, if you're listening, I need you to hold me accountable. So January of 2026, 2026, I plan to step away from my program. Hmm. And Mama Cindy and I had this conversation, and she's like, Mama Sean, you got to go. You've got things to do. Everyone's been telling me that for the longest. You've got things to do, and you need to go. And so that is going to be that's what I'm going to be working on, because that's what I'm afraid to let go of. I'm afraid to let go of because this is my baby. The things that I have been through in this place has been insurmountable. So I have to because I have other obligations at board levels and other places. So that's mine of what I'm afraid to let go of. So who wants to be the brave soul that wants to answer any of those questions in the chat? Let me put the chat up so I can make sure I don't miss anybody. Okay. Oh, you're so welcome. Elizabeth Ward mentioned taking care of more than one household. I didn't choose it. I didn't. I didn't choose. Oh, Miss Elsie. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Thank you. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry, but I'm not. Um, oh, because there's a lot of people in here that I've looked up to from a distance. So I appreciate you guys being in here. Yes, ma'am. I'm letting my baby fly. Yes, I appreciate you so much. Oh God, the tears are in my eyes. But yes, because I've got things to do and I have to go. I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear about it. I would that Miss Miller, Miss Regina is a big one. That's a big one. Being afraid of someone else handling your daughter's legacy. That's a big one. And thank you for sharing that, because I know that was big. I appreciate you sharing that. That is really big. Yes. Wait, are you her mom? Oh my gosh. This world brings so many people together. It's amazing. But let's move on, because my time check has been given to me. So I like to stay on task because I want to come back. So sort and prioritize what actually belongs to you. Realigning with your purpose and your values. Boundary check. Are you a bottomless bag or a clutch? I just talked about that a few minutes ago. Letting go of what's outdated, expired dream roles and relationships, right? So let's look at those things, because those are the things that we need to look at, that needs to stay away, needs to stay out of our bag. It's going to creep back in our bag out of habit, but we have to realize, if I'm going to purposefully, and I'm talking to myself every session I've ever done, I talk to myself as well. And I'm probably gonna clean my purse out tonight. I will clean my purse out tonight. It's today Wednesday, yes. To let it be known, these are the things I don't need, right? I have baby wipes just because I don't ever know when I need them. Well, if I haven't used them, baby wipes gotta go. 3 steps to repacking. Empty the purse. Dump it out. What does that mean? Get honest about what's in there. Take your purse. I've done that. So I've done that in public places because I was looking for something, right? Disorganized. Dump it out. Sort through. I start to put everything in a category. Okay, all the change, all the mints, all the lotions or liquid stuff go here. Sanitizers here. Remember, I just said an S on a lot of that stuff, which means I have more than one. Some of the times I don't need more than one. I only need one. Sort it out. What brings life and what drains you, right? And then repack. Okay, pack light. live aligned. Choose tools and habits that tools, habits, and people that support your peace. So just like we dump out our bag, then we look at what we don't need, and then put back the things we know we're going to use. Same thing with friends, with work relationships, with sometimes even with staff, right? Sometimes we need to go through and toss out those that aren't aligned with our purpose and our goal. And sometimes they'll flush themselves out themselves. Um, so repack with purpose. If I'm going to empty it out, I'm going to repack it with the intent of not putting the stuff back, all the stuff back in that I just took out. Otherwise, what purpose does that serve? It doesn't serve me anything. In fact, it'll probably make me heavier because I was excited to do it, but I didn't do myself justice. I put everything back in there. And now I got an indentation in my shoulder because I'm carrying around my heavy bag along with the sink and someone else's sink and someone else's issues. We're not going to do that anymore, ladies. We're not going to do that anymore. All right. Peace, pals, essentials. Simple habits to lighten the load. Say no without guilt. Who can do that in 2025? Scheduling sacred time. I don't know what that means. And I'm not going to lie. The only time I have me time, and it's coming up in a few weeks. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. So my vacation, I only take one vacation a year, and my friends hate that because they're like, you need to take more than one. I only do one a year. So I'm going to Disney, which everyone that knows me knows that is where I go to get away and enjoy my life. Me and my inner child and my mother, we go for a week, and that's coming up in like 4 weeks. And I just bought my flight last night, so I'm excited to go. But that is how I do all these things. I do all these things once a year. Um, and so I'm excited to go. I need this like desperately. Um, Scheduling or reflective pause practice. Not everyone likes to journal, but if you're a person that likes to journal, journal. I know a lot of people do TikToks right now. I'm doing a series on TikTok called Dear Future Husband. And people are like, oh, I love this, and taking note of this because that's my way. And other single women who are like, hell yeah, we're stressed out by this. Yeah, I don't why do we have to carry the load, right? That's just another way of me journaling about what I go through as a single woman trying to provide for myself and take care of myself. And it catches on to people. Mentorship and support system check-in. Find that person that you trust. Find that person that you're able to have conversations with, and allow them to speak into you. Allow them to say, hey, okay, ReShaun, you need to back up. You need to calm down. I need you to bring it down. I get that you're excited. I get that you're frustrated. You're ready to. I need you to bring it down. That person that can call you to the carpet when you're wrong, right? And it has to be a bold person to do that for me, because I'm always in fight mode because I always have to protect myself. That's another thing. I deal with always having to protect myself because my certain parts of my life have not been the best, right? But with the right person, I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that, right? So you want to get those peoples. Okay, let me go through this. Okay, we're going to move past that. All right. So some mic'd up moments I want you to think about is, what's one thing you're choosing to unpack today? Like today, as soon as we leave here or before 11:59 p.m., whatever time zone you're in, because we got a lot of time zones, what are you going to unpack today? Whether it's mentally, spiritually, physically, um, realistically, metaphorically, all the things. What do you plan to unpack? And these are some things I want you to talk it over within yourself, okay? Your purse tells your story, but you decide what kind of bag you carry in your future. Every purse there's a story to it. Why this particular meant something to you, why this particular pen meant something to you, why this particular picture you hold in your phone, like, I just can't let it go. What, all of that you carry in your purse has a story, right? We as women, we're resilient creatures, and we always have a story, right? So I want you to remember, you have a story, and your purse is your book. Everything that's you, because you hold it close, you clutch it, right? Clutching your pearls, you clutch it close. That's who you are. So I want you to keep that in mind. So my closing prompt is, I want you to write a message to yourself. If no one else pumps you up, no one else cheers you up, you will always be your best cheerleader, because you know you better than anyone. I want you to say, I will no longer carry and I want you to say what it is. Write it down. If you got to create a journal, because you can create anything on anything, right? Carry something with you. And I think Mariah has something that she's going to hand out to you guys or send to you guys that I want you to work on, because I'm working on it as well, right? I will no longer this. I will no longer that. Okay. There is a purse reset sheet that that you guys are gonna get. And I want you to use that reset sheet. I want you to use that reset sheet to make it easier. In this picture, they're smiling as they pack. Why? They've packed the right stuff. They've let go of the things that they no longer need. So I hope that this session has been amazing for you. It was amazing putting it together, because you are resilient, you are beautiful, you are God's gift to whatever it is you do, because you're still here.